And then once you move out from our city or the next one, then you're out in the open area. And there you have, between the cities, you have quite distances. You may have 20, 30 kilometers before you get to the next city, and then it's just fields all over the place.
So you could just repeat about it, Roskilde, that place you went.
Yeah, Roskilde used to be the capital city of Denmark, maybe some 100 years ago. And that's where they have something called Roskilde Domkirke, which used to be a very large church of Denmark. And that's where many of the royal families and kings of the past are buried.
Right.
So even if when the queen or prince here in Denmark dies, they'll probably be buried in Roskilde because of the rest also being buried there.
Right. And what is the main thing of the main Copenhagen?
The main capital city is Copenhagen, yes.
So that's where we'll find all the Parliament Square.
That's where the parliament is, the Queen's Castle. One of the castles, the main castle, is in Copenhagen. And then she, of course, has some summer residences and other places around the country. But the capital city is, I think you have a population of around 1.5 million people. The population of Denmark is around 6 million people. And then you have three or four major cities. Copenhagen is the biggest one. Then you also have Odense, which is where Hans Christian Andersen, the famous author, was born. And then you have...
we visited that model there in the water.
Yes, the Little Mermaid. That's based on one of his adventures, one of his fairy tales. And then you have Aalborg and Aarhus. Those are also two largest cities of Denmark. But the populations there are probably like 700,000-800,000 or 600,000-700,000. They're not large cities.
Right.
And I think if you look at this part of Denmark, which is called Sealand, this is an island, and this is where Copenhagen is, and this is close to Sweden, and that's where you have the largest, most dense population in Denmark. Whereas if you go to the mainland of Denmark, where you have two largest cities like Aalborg and Aarhus, they are less dense. You have more fields, more farming areas, and very little population there compared to this part. This is now the neighboring city to Tostrup. It's called Albertslund. We are now going to a local mosque here, which is recently rebuilt based on the border building and refurbished it totally, so it's quite new and it's quite big compared to our own mosque in Tostrup. But the population of Pakistanis here in Albertslund is quite higher than Tostrup, so they can afford and they need a big mosque compared to the needs of Tostrup.
In total, how many mosques we have here?
Ooh, in Denmark, I would say maybe. I mean, it depends on what you call a mosque. If you just had a small prayer room, that's also called a mosque. Where people have in the community center, they'll find a small prayer room allocated by the government, and then they use that. But I would say larger mosque institutions, maybe 100 or something, and just in the capital city area. And then big institutions, I would say you have around 8-10 larger mosques, where it's maybe 200, 300 plus attendees coming to those mosques.
So, and the mosque, the main thing, we don't have minarets. It's not allowed.
They are allowed. Recently they've been allowed. I mean, the large mosque right now in Denmark is with a minar, and I think that's one of the first one that's been built.
Right. So you are born in Denmark?
I was actually born in Lahore in Pakistan, but I came here when I was 6 months old.
And your
pretty much
full name, Ahmed?
Ahmed Hussain.
Ahmed Hussain, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
Ahmed Manzoor Hussain.
Ahmed Manzoor Hussain. Alhamdulillah. Now we're going to enter the mosque. What is it called, this mosque?
Albertslund Islamic Culture Center West.
Muslim Islamic Culture Center West.